Hey, you're back. Thank you. Thanks for showing up. You're in for another treat. Rear doors. Yeah, we're showing you every aspect of this car's restoration, guys, and that includes a little bit of repetition. So here we are. We did the front doors. We're doing the rear doors, taking these guys all apart. Now I'm not going to show you every single nut and bolt on this door. We're gonna hit some of the stuff that's a little different on the rear door as opposed to the front door, and we're just going to move along. So this one here, it's got stationary glass. That's a little different. I already took the other door completely apart so I could familiarize myself with it. It's a little frustrating to get that window out of there, but it's doable. Yeah, so let's get to it. Okay, so I got the door latch loose. I used an impact driver. Got to be careful with these. You can dent the door. I did a little bit, but we'll straighten it out when we get into Bodywork. The interior door handle, got that loose. It was right here. And we have a lock rod that goes this way over here to this little cam, this little plastic cam that makes your door lock go up and down. Now that we've got everything loose, what we can do, see this little rubber guy, it just pushes down into the door. That's connected to this rod. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to rotate this plastic guy a little further than he's supposed to, and you really can't do this unless you got that latch out of the door. And it should come up and out of here if we're careful and we don't break this stupid little plastic guy. There we go. There you go. Now, we've got a little bit of movement. We can get the latch into position, disconnect this rod from it, and pull it out that way. Yeah, and this rod has a funky little connector, kind of like the front door. You can go in through this hole here, push down on a little retainer, and the rod will pop free. And we can just pull everything out this hole. And set that aside. Now we should, let's say should, be able to get this latch out of it. Let's take that outside door handle off. It's going to make things a little easier. There we go. This little gizmo on the door handle was hanging us up. So take this off first. Then you'll be able to grab this guy, pull him out. Okay, I'm cranking this window all the way down so we can get this window, or what's left of this window run channel, out of here. And that snapping sound you heard is this thing breaking into pieces. Yeah, that's rubber you're hearing. Well, what used to be rubber. That's pretty crazy. Rubber. You hear it shatter as it hits the floor. Well, that's what's kind of supposed to, well, not that, but moving right along. Window, how do we get this window out of here? Well, let me show you how I got the other side out. I don't know if it's the right way, but it can be a little frustrating, but we'll get it done. All right, so what we have is a stationary window, meaning this guy doesn't move at all, and this one moves up and down. I don't see a way of getting this guy out very easily without loosening some things up. And I mean this window run channel bracket metal thing here. There's a bolt here and a bolt here that hold this guy in place. You take these loose and then things are going to start to work for us, if you know what I mean. So I got this bolt out, this nut off, pushed down gently on this bracket, got the stud down below, kind of inside the door. It's out of this hole here. Now at the top, there's a very small screw. It is a 9/32 screw at the top here. You take that out. Now this bracket should be loose. All right, so I've got my bracket loose. It's just kind of sitting here. Now what I'm gonna do, and guys, there might be easier ways to do this. I don't know, you tell me. Now I can mess with this glass and kind of move it that way. It's gonna be really locked into this channel here in the door, so you gotta be careful. Don't damage that rubber. I don't know if this is a good idea, but worked on the other door. I took a regular screwdriver. We're just going to pry a little bit. We're not going to get too aggressive with it. There we go. We didn't break anything. Thank God. Now we got that glass out of the way, we can try to get this guy out of here. If I can remember how I did it. There you go. You gotta kind of turn as you go. There we go. Cranking up, cranking up. Sideways, coming out on the inside part of the door, this side, not the outside. Came right out. Wow, these things are a lot lighter when there's nothing in them. One thing I didn't show you when I did the front doors is before I went and started stripping paint and getting these guys in bare metal, you see? Yeah, so what you can do is get some compressed air, which is not a bad idea, or shake it out like that, or I'm just gonna run a hose through this guy. See how much more crap I can get out of it. And we'll let them dry, and then we'll start stripping some paint. bit of dirt in there. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's a really good idea to hose these things out. So one more thing before we strip these down to steel and shoot them in some epoxy is make a list, guys. If you're restoring a car, say we're on this right rear door, we're taking it apart to, you know, restore it. We find broken parts. Make a list. Right rear door. I need a window regulator. I need a door handle, whatever it may be, because it might be a year before you get back to this, and then, you know, oh, it's got beautiful paint, I'm ready to go back together, and then, I forgot, I need this. Well, if you make a list, you shouldn't forget. And that's all I got to say about that, guys. Let's go ahead and strip these things down and get some epoxy on them. All right, both doors are in bare steel, guys. Again, dents, dings, not much going on here, except we did find a rust hole on the driver's rear door here. You can see that bottom corner, and I can tell you why. Let's flip this door over real quick. All right, so from the factory, these doors have drain holes because, you know, water is going to get inside the door and it's going to need to come out. If it can't come out, well, then it just lays in there and rusts holes over time. So these drain holes, at least on the rear door, there's one in this corner and one in this corner. Well, right here is our rust hole, and this drain was clogged completely. From the factory, there was a seam sealer, and they just totally covered this guy up. So over time, we rust through. Now, I'm amazed that the hole is only that big, but given that it's Southern California, they don't get much rain, and if they do, it evaporates pretty quickly. Makes sense. So just thought I'd share. We got both these doors in the bare steel. We're going to go ahead and shoot them with epoxy. I'm going to go ahead and tape the inner parts of the door, just like we did with the front doors. Tape that off, spray the jams, let it sit for about an hour and a half, and then I'll be able to flip them over and do the top side. So let's get to it. And thus concludes the rear door episode. Good stuff. We got the last two pieces that we can unbolt from the car before we start working on the quarters and the roof and stuff. That trunk and that rear window enclosure piece, they look pretty straight. I'm not too worried about that. I wanted to talk about game plan on Bodywork real quick. What I'm doing, how I'm doing it. There's several ways to do it. This is the way I'm gonna do it. Is we're stripping the entire body, as you can see, down to bare steel. Now we have green paint, primer, another layer of green paint, then the black and white paint from it being a police car, and then that primer. So that's way too much stuff on there. That's why we're taking this all the way down, and then we're shooting in an epoxy primer because that's going to keep it from rusting, because unfortunately I don't have a shed or garage to just rip this guy apart and leave him, you know, undercover. He's out here exposed to the elements, so the epoxy primer's keeping everything from rusting once we get down to bare steel. So yeah, it's a long process, and yeah, you could probably hire somebody to come out here with a soda blaster and take all that stuff off, but you know, we just don't have that kind of money. So that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. After the epoxy primer, I'll shoot it with several coats of high build primer, the 2K primer, and that'll allow us to then start applying some body filler and smoothing things out, dents, dings, you name it. We'll get everything as smooth as possible. Then we'll hit it with sealer, and the sealer comes in several different colors: gray, black, white. Just happens that we got a black and white car, so that's going to be pretty cool. He'll start to look like he used to with the black and white sealer. Now after the sealer, we apply our color, and then finally the clear, and then cut and buff, that's a lot of work too. So yeah, we have a lot to do. I don't think we're gonna get it done this summer, just because I'm one guy, and it's a lot of work. If anybody has restored a car on their own, they know it's painstaking and tedious. So anyways, that's how I'm going about this. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, let me know. I'm gonna get this stuff home, start stripping it. I think we'll start working on the HVAC system. I think that'll probably be the next episode. So until then, you guys have a happy 4th of July. I will see you later. Oh, have a good one.